Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Brownstone. My name is Rich Brown. Thank you for joining me once again. I am not at my home in Toronto. I am actually coming to you from our nation's capital. I'm in Ottawa. I've kind of been back and forth to Ottawa the last couple of weeks, working with a great opera singer named Misha Brugger-Gossman and the National Arts Center Orchestra out here in Ottawa. It's myself and Larnell Lewis working with Misha and the orchestra. We've been having a blast. This is going to be for an upcoming performance that I'm pretty sure you will be able to see online at some point. I'll keep you posted on all of that. So make sure you're following me on my social medias, which I think I leave the links below. There's like a Linktree link where you can follow me. Anyway, my friends and neighbors, you're not here for me to talk about all that. You're here because we were talking about triads last week, and I'm going to continue with some of that today. And I have some really cool ideas to give to you that's going to involve using the triads to play some really beautiful chords. Chords, who knew? I'm playing a 5-string today as I usually do, but these, I'm basically going to be playing these without using any of the notes of the B string. So you can easily do these on a 4-string. And I will lead into that with a question from the last video. A man by the name of Mr. Funky Dad asked a question last week in the comment section. He wanted to know how to target the inversions of the triad. Well, here's the thing, Mr. Funky Dad and everyone else. The thing about the triad that you have to remember, it's very simple, is that whether you're playing a major triad or a minor triad, each note is going to be a third away. Now check this out. If I go from that G, let's say G major, when I go from G to B, obviously that's a major third. And then when I go from B to that D, that's a minor third. Now, you probably know this already, but it's also very helpful when you take this idea to one string. If I were to play the triad on one string, it's very easy. I just have to remember, if it's a major triad, I go major third to minor third. If it's a minor triad, I go minor third, and then from that B flat to D, that's a major third. So major triad, I play a major third, and then from that fifth, I play a minor third. And it's a very easy spacing to just take note of. Like a major third is a span of 5 frets, very easy. And then a minor third is just a 4-fret span. So if you're targeting those intervals, this makes it very easy. So when I play 5 frets, I don't even have to think about 4 frets. And you can easily practice those triads on one string. It's very easy. Just major third to minor third, or minor third to major third if you're on the minor triad. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that answers the question. This is very important because we are going to get into some very cool stuff today. Check this out. The triads that we've been working with so far and the inversions, these are all what's called closed position. All the notes are very close together. But something very cool happens if we were to open these up. If I play a major triad, root third fifth, but open up this triad by taking that major third and playing it on the higher octave, then I get this sort of cool chord voicing. Very conventional. You've heard it. You've probably played it before. I have the root. There's my fifth. I take the third up the octave, and I have this beautiful sound. Now, here's the cool thing. we can do that with each of the inversions of the triads. If you remember from the last video, we've got 3 shapes happening, and those are our triads and inversion. The root position of the triad, the first inversion, and the second inversion. Now, for that first chord, I played the root, third, fifth, 3 notes. But here's the interesting thing, and here's the thing that we're going to remember for the rest of these chord voicings. The middle note, in this case the third, gets raised an octave. So the middle note of each of our shapes moving forward will be raised an octave, and that will give us our next chord. And I say chord, but these chords are simply based on the triads. We're not adding anything to the harmony, to the scale, to anything. So there's my first chord. Beautiful sound. Now, I'll move to the first inversion of that major triad. Do you remember this shape? So here I have the third, the fifth, and the root up top. So what I do is I take my middle note. In this case it's the fifth, and I raise that an octave. And then I go back to the remaining notes and I have this beautiful sound. So the notes that I'm holding here, I have the 7th fret of my E string, the 5th fret of the D string, and the 7th fret of the G string. Still the same notes of the G major triad. Here's my third, root, and the 5th is raised up an octave to get this lovely sound. Now, I can do the same thing when I move to the second inversion. So here, that's my second inversion, if you remember the video from last week. And these are my 3 notes of the triad. I've got the 5th, the root, and the 3rd. This time, the root note is in the middle of those 3 notes. So that's the note that we raise up an octave. And then when we keep the 2 remaining notes, isn't that gorgeous? I say this all the time, but man, I love the sound of this bass. I love the sound of this instrument. And I think that is an important thing for all of us to feel when we play. We want to enjoy the sound of the instrument, enjoy the sound of the music that we make, because it makes us want to practice more. It makes us want to hear more of that sound. So I know it sounds cheesy sometimes, and maybe even a little hyperbolic, or maybe I'm exaggerating when I say, "Oh, that sounds so great," but I'm not. It's an honest, emotional response to what I'm hearing when I play these notes. Not my playing, no. Not me, but the sound that's being created when I put these notes together in this beautiful, harmonious way. So, I have the root position of the triad, where I've taken the 3rd up the octave. I have the first inversion of the triad, where I've taken the 5th up the octave. And then I have the second inversion of the triad, where the root is actually the top note. So this is very cool. One thing you can practice is just going back and forth between the chord and arpeggiating that triad. So you have then move to the first inversion. And the second inversion. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. Okay, so that was the major triad. We can do the same with the minor triad. In fact, we can just take a look at the shapes that we have, figure out where the third is on each of those shapes, and then flatten that third by a semitone. So here I have the third on top, which means this B is going to become a B flat, which gives me this shape. So I have root, fifth, minor third. And in this particular case, the root position of the minor triad in this open voicing has the root and the third on the same fret when you take the third up the octave. Very nice sound. Now, when we go to the second inversion of that major triad, remember we had this shape. Now, here's the thing. That third was the bottom note of our voicing. So that's the note that we have to bring back to B flat. That's a B. That's a B flat. That's our first inversion of a minor triad. Remember, what we're doing is we're getting accustomed to the shapes being created when we find each of these configurations of the triad. We have to remember the shapes so that we always know exactly where to go. Right? So that's the first inversion of the minor triad. Second inversion, remember, Mr. Funky Dad, we started with a minor third. So our next note is going to be where? A major third away. There's a minor third, there's the fifth. Now, if you remember, our second inversion of the major, we have fifth, root, third, fifth, root. So we have to flatten that third. Fifth, root, third, that's the major third. There's the B flat, and now we play. So that is our triad, but now we have to take our middle note to the higher octave. This is going to be a bit of a stretch, but you can do it. There's the voicing. I don't know if you can see what I've got going there, but I have the 10th fret of the E string, the 8th fret of the D string, and the 12th fret of the G string to give us this lovely open sound. So our minor triad, that's the root position. That's the first inversion. That's the second inversion. Beautiful chords. So I can just practice those. I can just go back and forth between the major and the minor. Just playing that on G. So I'll start major, root position, first inversion, and I'll go back. Second inversion, back to the first inversion to the root position. And then I'll go to minor. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, first inversion, root position. I hope this is all making sense, because there's more that we can do here. Huh? So, again, if you're targeting these chords, just remember the spacing. When I'm playing that major, I have to think about that span, that fret span that brings me to the next note of the triad. So here, up a major third to grab this second shape for the first inversion. Up a minor third to grab the second inversion, that shape. And then for the minor, up a minor third from there for the first inversion, up a major third from there for the second inversion. Okay, now here's where things can get interesting. So before, we've mainly been playing these triads on G. So we've been working with the major triads and the inversions, and the minor triads and the inversions, all on G. But now I want to do something. Now I want to go from G major to A minor. So up a tone to that A minor. And then what I want to do is play the inversions for both of those chords. This is gorgeous. This is another one of these beautiful etudes that you can play just to practice and really familiarize yourself with the shapes being created by these chords and also the sound of the chords themselves. This is what we really want to get ingrained. I know I say it a lot, but if you hear me say something a lot, it means it's very important, and I want you to get it into your subconscious. So, check this out. If I just play just as I did before, root position, first inversion, second inversion of G major, and then I'll do the same thing with A minor, root position of A minor, first inversion of A minor, second inversion of A minor. Check out what happens. Here we go. So G, first inversion, second inversion. Now A minor, check this out. Oh man, already. Root position, first inversion, second inversion. Isn't that gorgeous? G major, G major, first inversion, G major, second inversion. A minor, root position, A minor, first inversion, A minor, second inversion. And if I want, I can follow through all the way to the octave. Here I'm just playing the octave of my root position, right? Same chord, octave higher. I can do the same thing with the A minor. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, root position, an octave higher. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. So there I'm playing all the chords, basically all the chords associated with one sound. So I go G major, I play all of the chords associated with G major. And then I play A minor and I play all the chords associated with A minor. But we can also mix and match in very cool ways, right? So check this out. Here's what I'll do for the next exercise. I will play the root position of both chords, and then I'll play the first inversion of both chords, and then I'll play the second inversion of both chords. You're gonna love this. Watch. Root position of G major to A minor, then first inversion of G major to A minor, and then second inversion of G major to A minor. This is gonna be gorgeous. Check it out. Root position, G major, A minor. First inversion of G major. Woo! First inversion of A minor. Second inversion of G major. Second inversion of A minor. There's the octave of the root position. I'll play that again. Root positions of both chords. First inversion of both chords. Second inversion of both chords. To the octave. Now, why is this important? Well, I'll tell you. Because sometimes when you're playing, and especially if you're playing like a duo situation where you're accompanying a singer or a horn player, sometimes these shapes can definitely come in handy. And the cool thing about it is, as soon as you see a major chord on a chart, or someone tells you to play something in a particular harmony, whether it's G major, A minor, C minor, whatever, you grab that root position of the chord and you should be able to see the other two inversions. Cool thing about this is, every time you move to another inversion, it puts you in a new position, which then gives you another configuration of notes or another shape that you can then work with. So if I play, I'm just working with like basic triad ideas. And then I move to the first inversion. And then second inversion. Here I'm just dealing with triads. I haven't added anything. I'm not playing anything pentatonic or related to a scale. That will come after. But you can see that every time I move to a new position using these inversions, I've got a whole other set of notes that I can then use to improvise and work around that scale. Cool thing is every time I play an idea related to that in a certain shape or using a certain position, I can always finish that idea by playing the chord, whatever that chord may be. So if I'm in G major, I can work my way up and then finish whatever idea I'm playing with that chord, right? I mean, here I'm playing triads. I'm really trying to keep it simple just to illustrate the point. But if I were to stretch out on that, check it out. So here's my G major. Now already I can see where that second inversion of that G major is going to be. So I already know this position, I can play some stuff. So even if I start to stretch out beyond just the triad, I know I have that to work with. I have this area which puts me in a certain shape and configuration or mode, which is something else we can talk about down the line. And then I can improvise whenever I move to a new position. There's always another set of notes that I can use to play. And that's why having these inversions under your fingers can be really helpful. I'm just going to keep playing these all day. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to leave it there. My friends and neighbors, if you like this video, please do give a like, subscribe to the channel. As always, if this lesson is of some value to you, you can donate to the channel. Whatever you feel is necessary, whatever you want to give. No donation is too small or too large. And every donation is greatly appreciated. I still get tons of comments and messages through social media from people who are very appreciative for what I'm doing here on this channel. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. And it literally keeps me going, because everyone has those days where they get up and they just feel like they can't deal with what's going on. They don't feel like playing, or they don't feel like whatever, creating or anything like that. But I'll tell you something, I have those days, and then I get up and then I read one of your comments, or I get a donation from someone, even if it's $5, and it makes me realize that this is important to somebody. And that's what keeps me going, especially on those days where I feel like I'm feeling not so productive. Let's just keep it there. Everyone has hard days. But all that to say, friends and neighbors, that I'm so grateful. And for every like and every time you hit subscribe, every time you hit that notification bell, every time you donate to the channel, it means a great deal to me, and it just makes me want to keep this going for y'all. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. My name is Rich Brown. Thank you for visiting me here in the Brownstone, this time located in Ottawa. And peace and love, y'all. I'll see you in the next video.